Should you stop playing your Russian Jaw Harp? Should you stop buying Russian Jaw Harps? This is a very good question. Let's just take a moment. Let's unpackage it and talk about it. I'm going to give some of my opinions on the matter. I've talked to a bunch of Russian makers. But what's happening in the world, as most of us have heard, the government of Russia has invaded Ukraine and they're shelling civilian cities and civilian buildings. A lot of poopy stuff is going on over there. Not a good deal. So the world's come together and they're imposing sanctions on oil, on the finances of Russia, and they're attacking the Russian economy to try to stop the Russian invasion into the country of Ukraine. Now, should we stop buying jaw harps from Russians, and should we stop playing our Russian jaw harps? As most of us harp players have got a lot of Russian instruments because there are possibly 100 or more makers in Russia, and many of them are some of the finest masters in the world. Let's first talk about, I've spoke with many of the Russian makers. Is this a war between Ukrainian makers and Russian makers? I don't believe it is. This is a decision that was made by a government, and the people of Russia are, for the most part, against it. Every Russian maker that I've spoke to on this, shock, awe, shame, their comments would be like, this is insanity. We wish it would stop. But in Russia, it's hard for people to even protest because if you protest the war, you're getting arrested. They're currently pushing through a law or trying to push through a law that may result in 15 years of hard prison time for people who speak out against the war unfavorably. So the Russian people and Russian makers are against this war. They don't want it. It wasn't a decision they made, but they're going to bear the economic hardship of it. And so the Russian people and Russian makers aren't to blame for this war, and they can't hardly even speak out unless they face serious consequences as a result of their speaking out. And I've seen videos of several Russian makers speaking out against it, which is a fairly risky thing to do if you're living in Russia. So in my opinion, play your Russian jaw harp. Send love and best wishes to the Russian people. And if you can buy Russian harps, go ahead and buy them. Although that point is probably going to be negated here pretty soon because it's getting harder and harder to even get money to Russian makers, and it's going to become harder for Russian makers to ship instruments to us. So I say if you got Russian harps in your collection, play them, send good vibrations, good love to the Russian makers. And if you have Ukrainian harps in your collection, play them, send good love, good vibrations to the Ukrainian people. And we do still have the ability to send money to Ukrainian makers. So if you want to help Ukrainian makers out, they're still trying to feed their families. Many of them are hiding in bomb shelters. You can find many of them on social media, on Instagram. So go on there, find your favorite Ukrainian maker, pay them for a harp. You may not get a harp because they're fighting a war right now, but send them some love, send them some support as well. Those are my opinions. Just be sure to comment below what are yours. And my last point I want to make with this, the sanctions the world is putting on Russia are going to hurt the Russian people very badly. Economically, their ability to get food, their ability to keep a roof over their head. And those may help hinder the Russian war effort, may even stop the Russian war effort in Ukraine, maybe. But banning a maker, many of these makers who make these instruments are making them in sheds, in garages. Some of them are forging them inside their house, in side rooms, ventilated. So you're really not going to have an impact on the Russian war by making a small musical instrument maker's life harder, although you're probably not going to be able to send money to buy Russian instruments in the future. But these are my opinions based on what I've spoken with Russian makers and some of my Russian friends. What are your opinions? Comment them below. And all this information I'm giving you is coming from American media, so we're viewing it through the lens of that. So if anybody has any breakdowns on what more is developing over there, please comment them below. But I'm making this post so that we don't get into the habit of hating Russian people and hating Russian makers for something that they didn't have a choice in. My opinion is also, I'm from America. America has waged some pretty devastating wars in the Middle East, which us Americans really didn't have any choice in the matter. So I wouldn't go punishing Russian people for something that their government is doing. I love you, makers from Russia. I love you, makers from Ukraine. Good love, good vibrations to you. I hope that this insanity stops. Anyways, comment below. I love y'all. Keep your harps clean, keep them dry, keep them oiled. Be good to each other. Harp out.